I was a philosophy major in college because I was really interested in absolutely everything. I became very interested in how the mind and body relate to each other. And it wound up in my career, that's what I was doing every day, taking care of people and figuring out how best to approach them. My name is Marc Ringel. I'm a family doctor. I've done everything from deliver babies to practice hospice, everything in between. I've done a lot of rural practice. I've done teaching on the faculty of a residency program. I've taught a lot of medical students and nurse practitioner students in my practices. I've written newspaper columns, been on the radio, consulted in continuing medical education, been medical director of a hospice. I did not go to medical school with the idea of saving a whole lot of people. I really went for intellectual reasons. I was very interested in the mind-body problem. Thought psychiatry would be a good way to do that without having to be a university professor. But really, if I'd had my druthers, I would have taken some time off after college. And I didn't, because I had in the Vietnam draft, I had a low lottery number. And I got 4 more years of deferment, of draft deferment, by going to medical school. And medical school was a very hard thing to do for somebody who wasn't sure he really wanted to be a doctor. It's very challenging, but obviously it's worked out very well for me. My favorite job, looking back, was being medical director of hospice. When people get to the end of their life, by far the most important therapeutic tool you have is the relationship you have with them. And that's the biggest privilege of being a physician, is that people let you into their lives, and especially when they're at the end of their lives, when there's no room for anything else. I think the most challenging part of it is how high the stakes are. A great example is, as a family doctor, you see 1 million kids with sore throats. And if you examine the throat and you forget to look to see, are the tonsils symmetrical, and one of them is swollen more than the other, there could be an abscess behind it. You could send the kid home and the kid could die overnight. So even for a plain old sore throat, you can't ever completely let your guard down. The other thing is, and especially in small town practice where everybody knows who you are and calls you doc, being a physician is a very high status job. And it's hard to keep hold of who you are if everybody treats you with a preformed attitude. I think the 2 things that really lead to success are, 1, people who figure out how to hang on to themselves and who they really are. Because, like I said, this is such a seductive job because everybody thinks you're so wonderful if you're a doctor. You lose track of that and you wind up pretty unhappy. And the other is people who know how to live with uncertainty, because science explains still a small percentage of what it is that we do. And you have to be able to say, I don't know. You have to be able to be okay within yourself, and especially as a generalist like I am as a family doctor. But even for a subspecialist, you never know it all. And you have to feel your way along as you're doing it and make decisions based on each individual patient as you're seeing them. I don't know. There's so much about my career that I could not have predicted. My first, what I would call big boy job, was in the National Service Corps in Yuma, Colorado, population 2,000, and I grew up on the north side of Chicago. So if anybody told me that I would wind up in a town of 2,000 people doing a general practice and then family practice, I would have said that was nuts. So my life led in directions that I could not possibly predict it, and I've been lucky enough to follow my instincts.